Okay, so what if I told you there's this one simple trick, a mental technique that can totally shatter any creative block you've ever had? It's called divergent thinking. And trust me, once you get it, it might just change the way you solve problems. Forever.
You know that feeling, right? You're in a meeting or maybe just staring at a blank screen and you are just stuck. You're going in circles, coming back to the same couple of ideas, and none of them feel quite right. It's super common, and man, is it frustrating.
Yeah, that's the moment. It's when the same old solutions, the easy answers, they're not going to work anymore. You know you need a breakthrough, but your brain is just stuck on repeat, running down the same old path. So to break free, we've got to consciously shift gears in our heads.
And how do we do that? Well, this is where a mental model called divergent thinking comes in. See, it's not really about finding that one perfect idea right away. Nope. It's about unlocking all the other ideas, the ones you didn't even realize were rattling around in your head.
So what is it exactly? The definition is actually pretty simple. Divergent thinking is just the process of generating a whole bunch of creative ideas for a single problem. The key word there is many. At this stage, it's all about quantity over quality. Think of it like you're fishing. You're just trying to cast the widest net possible and see what you pull in. You're not deciding which fish to keep yet, you're just catching them.
But here's the thing. To really get how powerful this is, you have to meet its other half. See, divergent thinking, it doesn't work alone. It has a partner, and that partner is called convergent thinking. Together, they're like this unstoppable problem-solving team. Okay, so check this out. Divergent thinking is all about expanding. It's the creative, messy, no bad ideas part. Your only goal is to generate as many options as you can. But then, once you've got this huge pool of possibilities, you switch modes. You bring in convergent thinking, which is all about focus. This is the logical, structured part, where you start narrowing things down to find the single best answer. You absolutely need both. First you go wide, then you go deep.
Okay, so that's the theory. Sounds good, right? But what does this actually look like in the real world? How do you apply it? Let's get into the practical, step-by-step stuff.
Right, so if you're in a group, the first instinct is for everyone to just jump in and start throwing ideas around. Big mistake. Don't do that. Here's the play. First, make sure everyone is totally clear on the goal. What are you actually trying to achieve? Then, and listen, this is the most important part. Have everyone brainstorm by themselves, or maybe in tiny little groups. This gives people space to think without being influenced by the loudest voice in the room. Only after everyone's had a chance to think on their own do you bring all those ideas back to the main group to start sorting through them.
And there's a really good reason for doing it this way. This whole process is designed to fight off the #1 killer of new ideas, groupthink. You know what I'm talking about. When everyone just sort of nods along with the boss or the most obvious solution. All the truly creative possibilities just disappear. So this individual brainstorming at the start, it's the antidote. It protects those fragile new ideas before the group's logic can squash them.
But look, just having your team generate ideas isn't the whole story. For this to really work, you need diverse perspectives. Let's be real. Your close friends, your immediate team, they probably think a lot like you do. You all have the same blind spots. So to find something genuinely new, you have to intentionally go outside your bubble. Bring in people with totally different backgrounds, different experiences, actively challenge your own assumptions. I mean, that's why something like crowdsourcing can be so ridiculously effective. It pulls from this giant, diverse pool of thinking. You know, this whole idea is a huge part of another cool concept called lateral thinking. So normal thinking is kind of vertical. You get one idea and you dig deeper and deeper into it. But lateral thinking, it moves sideways. It uses this divergent mindset to jump from one idea to a totally different one, just looking for weird, unexpected links. It's not about judging that first idea. It's about using it as a stepping stone to leap somewhere else entirely.
So what's the big payoff here? I mean, why bother consciously splitting your brain into these two different modes? Well, the benefits, they're pretty huge.
Because at the end of the day, this is why all of this really matters. When you use divergent thinking, you're not just sitting around hoping for a great idea to strike. No, you are actively creating a system to find one. You're fighting groupthink head-on. You're unlocking solutions that are truly innovative, not just slightly better versions of what you already have. and you're basically forcing yourself to look at problems from totally new angles. Suddenly, that cliché thinking outside the box, it stops being just a saying and becomes an actual, practical tool that you can use anytime.
So I'll leave you with a question to think about. Now that you have this mental model in your toolkit, what's one problem in your life? Could be big, could be small, that you're going to tackle differently. Now that you know how to go wide before you go deep, what new possibilities are you going to uncover?